Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be taking a look at the Lycans, which were featured in the awesome Underworld series starring Kate Beckinsale, Michael Sheen, Bill Nye, and Scott Speedman. The Lycans were fundamentally the second breed of werewolves created in the 13th century, descendant from the bloodline of William Corvinus, who was the first werewolf in existence. The son of Alexander Corvinus, the first true immortal, William had inherited the Corvinus strain in its active state from his father prior to being bitten by a rabid wolf while trying to protect his brother Marcus, which precipitated his transformation into the first werewolf. Marcus, who also carried his father's Corvinus strain, transformed into the first vampire after being bitten by a bat. Though Marcus tried at length to contain his brother's animosity, William had gone around infecting many people, which transformed them into werewolves, who, like William, would be forced to remain in werewolf form for the duration of their existence. Out of desperation, Marcus turned to Victor, who was an aging warlord with an incredible army, and offered him the gift of immortality in return for help with dealing with the pandemic rise of the first werewolves. Victor then turned his soldiers into vampires, which then became the first generation of death dealers that began a merciless campaign of werewolf extermination. That was, of course, until the birth of Lucian, the first Lycan, whose mother had been bitten by a werewolf during the late stages of pregnancy. Unlike the previous generation of werewolves, Lucian still retained his human form and personality, and later mastered the ability to turn himself at will.
Lucian, no!
Captured by the ruthless Victor, Lucian was then forced to feed on humans who turned into Lycans that retained the same abilities as their forefather. This was all part of Victor's plan to use the Lycans to protect all vampires in his kingdom during the day from the savage werewolves, a plan that failed miserably, in part due to the hatred and cruelty with which he dealt with the Lycans. The second generation Lycans born of Lucian displayed an increased level of physical strength, speed, endurance, and agility as a result of their mutation. Capable of overpowering both humans and most vampires in hand-to-hand combat, they also possessed enhanced senses of smell, hearing, and sight, which allowed them to sense when vampires were in close proximity to them. Though the Lycans were capable of incredible feats in their human form, their transformation into werewolves significantly increased all of their faculties. This transformation was generally quick and painless for the more experienced Lycans, but the rookies were sometimes forced to suffer minutes of agony as their physical body tore itself apart. Each of the turned Lycans also had the ability to infect others through a bite, though not all of their subjects were able to survive the infection's attack on their immune system. Newly born Lycans were only able to transform during a full moon, while the elders, who had been around for centuries, had learned to change at will by controlling their rage. The weakness to silver was a trait inherited from their werewolf ancestors, but due to the human portion of their genome, the Lycans evidently had a greater resilience and resistance to it. The species was also seen to possess superb physical resilience and remarkable regenerative abilities, especially the elders, which had mastered their abilities over time. For example, both Lucian and Reyes were wounded by silver bullets, yet they bore no marks or scars when they later reappeared. Although the presence of silver in their bodies hampered their regenerative abilities, Lucian was also capable of forcing the silver out of his body through pure muscle strength. Unfortunately, although Lucian was the first and most powerful Lycan, he met his eventual downfall at the hands of Craven, who shot him in the back with silver nitrate bullets, specifically designed to pump silver into the bloodstream and ensure death. The Underworld series is one of my favorite vampire and werewolf stories brought to screen, and it's filled with so much rich lore and history, from the immortal Corvinus clan to the multiple species including hybrids that had come to be from their mutated bloodline. If you haven't seen the Underworld films, I've left a link to where you can purchase them below. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at the Lycans featured in the Underworld series. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content. And if there's any other stuff you'd like me to check out, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.